Good morning to one and all. I, Dr. Devraj Singh Chauhan, first of all, welcome on behalf of Parul Institute of Nursing, Parul University, Vadodara. And today we are here for the research related webinar, utilization of research finding. For this purpose, we invite eminent professor and eminent researcher, Dr. Malti Lodhi ma'am. Ma'am currently working as a professor uh, and principal at Regional Institute of Nursing, Jabalpur, MP. No, before starting this session, just I want to elaborate about the ma'am. Ma'am have a PhD in nursing and MSc in nursing, as well as ma'am have a wide experience in research area. Ma'am published more than 45 paper in reputed journal, and ma'am also serve as a various conferences in national and international conferences as a resource person, as a moderator, and as a chairperson. And ma'am also member of board of studies in various universities. Ma'am also member of various examination bodies for UG, PG, and PhD. Ma'am also evaluator, survey evaluator for the PhD theses in various universities. And currently, ma'am working at the Regional Institute of Nursing, Jabalpur, MP. Now, with that introduction, I would like to request Dr. Malti Lodhi ma'am for start this session, utilization of research finding, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Devraj. And thank you. I would like to thank your university, Parul University, and all entire members who had given me an opportunity to be here with you all people for the discussion of utilization of research finding. I'm very thankful to you all, and thanks for giving me for my introductions too. Thank you, Devraj. So, can we start our this
Yes,
topic?
yes, yes, ma'am, please.
I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, audible,
Okay.
please.
Okay. So why we are discussing exactly utilization of the research finding? It is a most important topic of the research, which we have to always discuss. Means communication and finding communications is very important for the researchers as well as for the users who are who can use the findings which has been done by the researchers, and uh, by the research findings only we can promote our profession as well. As nursing profession is a profession which is very much means which is very much lackings regarding the research areas. So many peoples are doing research but that are not properly communicated. See that Nightingale has only one journal which has been published in the previous years, and she only started the nursing research. Now we'll see what is the research. First, we'll see the introductions. So, a research project is not considered until the findings have been communicated to others. Yeah, definitely. If we are not able to to communicate the findings, whatever result to the peoples or to the consumers, then you can that there is no use of the research. There are two major way for the researchers to communicate the result of their studies. They can talk about them or write about them. So there are two types or two major ways by which we can communicate our research findings. That can be verbal, or that can be in with writing. Now we'll see the verbal methods. And the verbal method is nothing but the researcher communicating पीपीटी शो हो रही है? रीजॉइन करना
Yeah, please rejoin.
राइट कनेक्ट once. कुछ ना हो ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. चलिए start.
Yeah, now visible, ma'am.
Shall
Yeah.
okay, I'm audible. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for interruptions. Sorry for interruptions. Actually, that some technical issues are there. Okay, we'll start that. How so? What is the writing report? And there are two ways by which we can communicate our research findings. First one is the verbal. Second one is the writing. With the writing, it is a means verbal. Also, we can disseminate our findings verbally with the lecture or interview method by the interview, or in the written. This is the most important method of disseminating or communicating our findings, because where we cannot reach by the written paper or by the articles, we can reach over there. So this is the most important part of disseminating or communicating our findings. Now we'll see the preparing research report. A research report is a written or oral summary of the study that, as we know, when we are preparing the report, that should be in concise manner we are preparing, and that should be disseminated by the project, or means our project. Also, we cannot complete by without completing our final report. Now we'll see the characteristic of a good research report. Uh, First one is what conciseness. That is whenever we are preparing the report, or whenever we are giving our report for the publications, or disseminating a report or communicating report with the consumers, that should be concise. Lack of redundancy. We should not use any vague words while we are preparing the reports. Clarity, yeah, there should be there. Lucidity of expressions. There are each and every word, whatever you are using, and whatever methods you have used for the research, that should be clearly defined, and that should be clear. And whatever expressions you are, or whatever phrases, whatever words, whatever sentences you are using, that should be not give any vague expressions. So expressions should be clear. Then objectivity. Whatever research means, this is the main objectives or characteristic of our research, that should be objectivity. Whatever objectives or aims you have set, only you have to present over there that. Then honesty. Whatever research methods you have used, data during the data collection, during the during the selecting the sample, you must maintain your honesty, and your research report should be honest. Then neat and clean. When we are presenting our research report, that should be neat and cleanly you have to present over there. Means all a table form or whatever that you can use pictorial diagrams, whatever you are using, that should be clear. Then completeness. You must remember that while you are disseminating or communicating your research finding, that should be complete. You should not give any means what I want to say. You should not give incomplete information to the audience. Then accuracy should be there. Attractive manner. You are when you are presenting your research, that should be an attractive manner. Well, uh, presentation should be there. That you have to remember where you have to give the outlines, and how to present that. That should be remembered. Then interesting. You have to present your research findings, that should be very much interesting, so consumer can use very easily. So these all correct characters which has to be uh, with the research findings while you are disseminating. Now we'll see the guideline for the writing research reports. See, first we have to develop the thinking. Definitely, when you are starting writing a report or disseminating the findings or communicating the findings of the research, you must have thinking. Means you have to develop the thinking. Which topic, which area, which place are you going to develop, or are you going to disseminate your research findings? Then divide narrations. You have to divide your topic or research with the narrations. Then use present tense and active voice. This is the most important things as well. Each and everyone's doing, means a maximum people are doing mistake with this. They are not using the present tense while they are presenting the research report. Then minimizing the use of technical language or jargons. All don't use same thing again and again, or do not repeat the word, or do not repeat the findings again and again. You have to minimize while you are presenting the research report. Use visual aids. You have to use the visual aids according when it is needed. If not needed, there is no need to use unnecessary visual aids. But if you are using this chart, templates, or pictorial diagrams, whatever, according to use, you can use. Means which types of consumers are there, accordingly you have to choose the visual aids too. Then be objective. Whatever objectives you have set, accordingly you have to present your report. Do not give any vague information which is not useful for the consumers. Then treat data confidentiality. Yeah, this is the most important thing. While you are writing the report, you should not leak any data which is not needed for anybody, or the person who has, means as well we are always remember that you should not leak their name who has given the information to you. Then revise and rewrite. Definitely before giving for the dissemination or communications, or for the publications, you must be revise and rewrite your research reports, so you can avoid the mistake, grammatical mistake, uh, uh, as well as the mistakes which can be evaluate. Then steps in writing reports. We'll see the steps on writing report. While you are writing the report, you must know there are some steps which has been involved in that. First one is the logical analysis of the subject matter. Yeah, definitely. While you are talking about the report or findings, you must have some logical thinkings, and whatever you are presenting, they must have some scientific or logical reason behind it. Then preparations of the final outline. Definitely, you have to prepare the final outline. This is the most important part of your research writing or findings writings. Uh, then preparations of the rough drafts. Okay, why we are preparing the rough draft? We must have some things which are very essentials to disseminate, which are very essentials to communicate, which are very essentials to publish. But sometime it happened that can be removed. So finally, you have to mention each and everything which are very essential and important, and then what you will do, you have to rewrite the rewrite and policy. You have to rewrite that rough draft again, or polish that. Polish it means what? Uh, you have to concise, you have to make a gist which has to be published in that. Then preparations of the final bibliography. Yeah, final bibliography, how we can prepare that bibliography? We can prepare according to what research means, what resources you have been used, and you have to given proper definitions or proper headings for the bibliography. First, in the first page, for example, you can use in the first degree books. Second page, you can use the journals. And the third page, you can use for the website and all. Then writing the final. After these all steps, you have to write the final drafts for the disseminations. If you So we will discuss one by one what is that logical analysis and subject matter. It is concerned with the development of a subject. There are two way to develop subject: logical and chronological. Definitely, when we are talking about the research reports, that research reports has to be logical, and you have to set chronologically. Then preparations of the final outline, they are the framework upon which written works are constructed. They are remind a point to be stressed in the reports as we discussed before. So I don't want to repeat again and again this. Then preparations of the rough drafts, definitely you have to prepare the rough draft. So researchers write down what has in the context of his research. Definitely you have to write in brief. Then you can concise that in the final draft. The rewriting and polishing of the rough draft, at most difficult part of the formal writing, require more time, checking the report for the weakness in logical development or presentations. So check in the mechanics of the writing. Each and everything we have to check in the rough draft. Then only we can write the final draft. Now we have to check out the bibliography or which we have used for the writing a report. So list of the book you have to write, then contain the work which the researcher has consulted, and arrange in order that already I has been discussed. Now writing the final draft. So it is written in the concise and objective style and in the simple language. Definitely, while you're writing the final draft, that should be in simple language so that each and everyone or your consumers or your users can understand whether you're writing of the research means your research findings they can use in your day by day means life. The researcher must avoid abstract terminology and technology jargon. Yeah, when we are presenting the report or findings, when we are disseminating or communicating or publishing, we must be avoid the words which are very critical, or that words we can means a very uh, uh, difficult to understand by the laymen. So that has to be always remember. A research report should not be dull. It must maintain originality and interest in other. So these all are the points which we have to remember. A layout of the research report, we'll see next point is what layout of the research report. The layout of research reports means as to what the research report should contain. Whatever research report has to be contained, that we have to first we have to make the layout for that, and it is a comprehensive layout of the research report that comprise both three things that layout should have. First one is the preliminary pages, second one is the main text, and third one is the end matters. We'll discuss a detail. First is the, so I'm audible, each and everyone is able to hear me? Hello?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Okay. Okay. Now we'll see the preliminary pages. It carries titles and dates. Preliminary pages of the research that carries what titles and dates. Acknowledgement in the form of the preface or forward, table of the contents, list of the table and illustrations. So these all are the preliminary pages. Now main text, what consists main text. It provides the complete outline of the research report along with all details, and each main sections of the report should begin on a new pages. So these things you have to remember while you are arranging the main text. Now end matters is what appendices should be enlisted, bibliography, index if needed. These all things you have to list it in the end matter of your dissemination or presentation of your research thesis or report. Now we'll see the types of reports. There are uh, types of report disseminations or communication, I can say. So result of the research investigations can be presented in a number of ways. Technical report can be disseminated. That is called the technical report. Then popular report, articles, monograph, oral presentations. These all are the methods which we can use for disseminating or presenting our report. uh, which methods of presentations to be used depend on the circumstances under which study arose and the natures of the results. Yeah, definitely it's depend on the nature of the study, definitely. Now we'll see the technical report. What is technical report and what it consists as exactly? It is used whenever a full written report of the study is required, whether for record keeping or for study disseminations. There are main emphasis given on what methods of employed, assumptions made, and detailed presentations of the findings, including limitations. You have to include limitations too in that. So these all are the points which we have to remember while you are publishing or disseminating your report technically. Now, outline of the technical report, you can see what you have to consist, what matter or what main matter will be there while you are writing a report technically for the technically disseminations. In that, you must have summary of the result, that is in brief, uh, uh, only for the 2 or 3 pages you have to write. The nature of the study, you have to write descriptions, objectives, formulating working hypothesis, analysis, and these all things you have to write while you are writing the report. Methods of employed, a specific method used in the study and their limitations you have to mention. Then data collected, sources, characteristic, and limitations too you have to mention in that. Analysis of the data, presentations in that, findings, a main body of the report, usually extending over the chapters. So these all are the things which you have to remember while you are when you are writing the report. Then conclusion you have to mention bibliography too, and technical appendages if needed, matter relating to questionnaire, mathematical derivations. These all things you have to, and index also mention if needed. So these, now next we'll see the popular reports. What is the popular reports? It is the report which gives emphasis on simplicity and attractiveness. So that the report which is very much popular, that must have simple simplicity as well as that should be attractive. So that can be used by the consumer very well. The simplification should be sought, though clear in writing. Yeah, through clear writing, you can make your report sound or strong or attractive. Attractive layout with large print, many subheadings you can put. Now, general outline of the popular reports. When we are talking about the popular reports, we must have some points which has to be remembered by by the researchers for the disseminating the findings and their implications. Emphasize on the findings of the most practical interest and on the implications of these findings. Whatever findings you are making, that findings has to be inculcate or write in proper manner, and then that can be present. And recommendations for the actions on the basis of the findings of the study. Yeah, you must mention the recommendations for the year study. Objective of the study, general review, how problem arise and presented along with the specific objective of the projects under the study. So you can make your research popular by remembering while you're writing the report by these all points. Then methods of employed, a brief non-technical descriptions, methods, techniques used, including the short review data on which the study is based. So these, then result, the sections constitute the main body report wherein the result of the study presented in clear and non-technical terms with liberal use of the all short and illustrations such as chart and diagram you can use. Technical appendices, more detailed information on methods, form, etc. Appendices, not detailed if the report is entirely meant for the general public. So I'm going very fast because these all are the matters which I have not to discuss in that. But before talking about the research findings, we must know how to raise the research means how to disseminate the research report or how to write the research report. So that is why these all are the points which are very essentials to learn or to know before writing the before disseminating or utilization of the research report. So that is why I am going very fast. Now, mechanics of the writing research report. This also, what things, what points, and what technical points you have to remember while you are writing the research report. Size and physical design. Definitely, your research findings size should be concise in manner, and it's depend on the institutional policy also. So you have to remember, researchers has to remember according to that policy of their institution or organization they have to make. Then procedures, you have to mention all procedures whatever you have used during or throughout your research process. Then layout, you have to make out the layout according, you have to mention here authors, whether your authors are main authors or assisting authors, what types of author you are having, that also you have to mention. And every objective you have to mention in the layout, so you can present very well. Then treatment of next, treatment of questions and documentation style, that should be in proper manner. You have to mention whatever caution style you have to use for the collecting of the information or data collect during the data collection, that has to be you write in proper way. Then use of statistic chart drafts you can use. Then final, you have to make the final graph, you have to write the bibliography and preparations of the index if needed. Now we'll see the writing for the publications. So from this part, we are starting the utilization of the research report, how to utilize and how to publish, where to publish, to whom to publish, and how to assess the consumers or how to assess the beneficiaries who can take benefit from your research projects or from your findings. So first we'll see the writing for the publications. The step for the for writing for the publication include, first you have to identify the topic or focus of the manuscript. Yeah, manuscript, what types you have written, who is the main author who have given this manuscript, and whether you have to divide that manuscript in subtopics or that has to be explained by the researcher. Then identify the intended audience. Yeah, you have to identify your audience, or we can say the consumer, or we can say the users of research findings. You have to identify them. Then identify the journals interested to publish. Yeah, this is the main things which you have to remember before giving your topic for the publications. You have to choose proper means correct journal or way of the publications. Now, to whom you consider as an audience, who will be the audience? The author need to be clear as to the intended readers of the manuscripts, readers who have keen interested in the topic. Yeah, the person who need your research findings to use in their practical work or to use in their day by day life, so you can find out such types of peoples. The next, identify the journals that publishes manuscript on that topic for the same audience. Then author should consider whether the target readers are nurses in general practice, advanced practice, nurses, faculty, and yeah, you have to means before publishing your topic or before publishing your findings, before disseminating your findings, you must target the reader, whether they are nurses or they are in clinical side, they are in education side, or they are in they are act as a manager, what types of work they are preferring. Accordingly you have to make your findings and give them, and and you have to disseminate your finding accordingly, according to their use. Then identify appropriate journals. Now you have to identify appropriate journals and what things you have to remember while you are identify your journals. The author has to be very careful while selecting the journals. Yeah, if a paper is submitted to inappropriate journal, sometime it happened, we were not much more aware, or unknowingly we can give our topic or our journal, our report, research report to uh, inappropriate journals. So what we have to remember and what we have to ask to the editor, they must be written back your journals, your report, whatever you have given for the publications, and peer reviewed. You can check the review too. If that can publish, you have to check peer reviewed whether it is rejected or accepted. Sometimes it happen that our topic rejected by the peer review because maybe because of same topic has been published before some days or recently. That can be happen. So that also you have to check, and that is not indicate that your research findings or research is not good. The rejections you can accept, and you can make corrections, and you can add something more, and you can publish again, then accepted and published. If your uh, the topic or your research findings is accepted and published, you have to check uh, in which journals you have to publish, and that is exactly index journal or not, according to your need. Then match with the topic. Now you have to, whatever topic you have published, that should be uh, match with your topic or not. That how you can check, and what you have to remember while you are publishing your findings. The primary considerations in selecting a journal is whether the journal published article in the subject area of the proposed manuscript, that is MLA, projections on mapping the literatures of the nursing is there or not. So that you have to remember uh, that whatever we are publishing, that is according to MLA projection project or not. That you have to remember. Then the author should review all possible journals in nursing and other health fields that might be interested in the manuscript. Author should review possible journals, other possible journals also. You can check that your findings or your manuscript with the articles. Different types of articles are identified: research theoretical, review articles, quality improvement reports, case reports, manuscripts focused on policy, history, education's methods, and ethics. So these all are the points which you have to match with your topic, so you can publish very well, and there will be no issue, or legal or ethical issues will be not there. Then internet resources for identify the journals. There are so many journals which we can identify, and we can publish our findings to use, or we can communicate our findings. There are to choose the right journals, there are different way. You can use the Sinhal database. You can Sinhal Plus with full text included, hundreds of the articles through. You can use this websites to find out the journals. Now we'll see the agreements to be made accountable for all the aspects of the work. Yeah, definitely. Whatever that findings we are publishing, for that only and only that author will be accountable. So that has to be that person has to be recognized or given credit as an author. All co-authors, now we'll talk about the co-authors. Co-authors must take responsibility for the context of the manuscript. They need to approve the final versions. Yeah, they can be uh, given their contributions during the final version. Sometime it happened that co-author can add on during the means after during the final step of your research. Then authorship, contributorship, or co-investigate investigations they can. Then conflict of the interest and sponsorship has to be remember. Then policies for the authorship by the journals, these all depend on the organizations or your institutions policy. Now we'll see the guest authors and ghost authors. Who will be the guest author? Guest authors are often person in authority over the actual author, but who are listed as an author without having met all the criteria. So they are called the guest author. The person who are having the who don't have any criteria of like an author, but they are considered as a authors while you're writing the research findings or research report. How to reduce the guest authorships? That has to be remember, and that has to be decided by researcher as well as institution or publishing policy. Now we'll see the ghost authorship. Ghost authors may have met all criteria for the authorship, but are not listed as such in the author byline. Yeah, they cannot listed as a author, but they have met all criteria of the authors. Now, this is the main point which has to be discussed while you are disseminating your research findings or communicating the findings. To facilitate readers determining the accuracy and value of published work, author must disclose any financial or other competing interest that might cast doubt upon their imperative. Uh, Imperativity. So that has to be that conflict has to be resolved by the researchers before disseminating the research findings. There's a consulting fee, for example, receipt of the salary research grant, copyright holding, receipt of the royalties on an assessment tool used for the study. So these all uh, issues has to be clear before writing or before disseminating or utilizing the research findings. You have to, being a researcher or being an author, being a publisher, must be remember, and these all points has to be resolved. Now, students writing with the faculty, if manuscript writing by the students with the faculty, so a manuscript co-authored by the faculties and students may demonstrate elements of the either guest or ghost authorship or both. So that has to be uh, decided by the main author or by the publisher. No, sorry, that has to be decided by the publisher or that publishing policies, what types of policies they are having, they has to decide before publishing. Then some faculty member may request or demand authorship. Sometime it happen. So that also we consider that faculty member can be the author uh, while they were guiding the students. Now we will talk about the plagiarism. When we are writing the research reports, that must be remember, uh, that should be not having plagiarism, uh, whatever decided by their institution or organizations, more than that points they must not have. So that has to be remembered by the publishers. So then plagiarism is not only a failure to indicate and cite properly a verbatim quotations, but it is also involved when author present ideas of another as their own without giving proper credits. So uh, plagiarism, sometime it happen. Plagiarism can come means that result of plagiarism will be not satisfactory so that is not shows your research work or your project work as not sufficient or not accurate, but you can make some changes and you can publish that again. But you have to remember, do not copy write or copy paste the things, so you can minimize the plagiarism report. Okay. Then strategies to reduce plagiarism. How to reduce the plagiarism? Careful note taking. Whatever findings or report you are writing to disseminate must have to uh, carefully, you have to note the things. The record keeping, you have to keep the record, whatever you have published, whatever you have disseminated, that should be that record should be keep. So you can maybe you can answerable for the particular things which has to be published. Now documentations of data and sources has to be uh, remember from where you have taken that particular matter which has to be published, which has been published. Then read the original sources thoroughly before starting to write. Yeah, you have to read thoroughly so you can avoid the plagiarism. Then use quotations mark when citing more than 6 words of the original material, not the page number. So you should not repeat the word again and again, so you can minimize the plagiarism report. Then always give credit to the original sources of the ideas, even when you uh, paraphrase them. Yeah, this is remembered by the publisher. They must be give recognitions to the original sources so they can minimize the plagiarism. Then check manuscript using plagiarism detection software can use. Obtain writing permissions for from the copyright holder for reproducing all copyright materials. Submit permissions with manuscripts. That also you have to remember, all permissions you has to take before submit the paper for the publication. If you are using your own previously published material, cite the original sources too. So these all are the points which you have to remember for the plagiarism. Now we'll see the elements of a research paper report. So what when you are writing the report or you are utilizing your findings, so what things you have to publish so that a consumer or so that the audience or the person to whom you want to be benefited, they can use very well. So first you have to remember the title. Your author should select keywords for the title based on their target audience will find that most informative most whatever title you are finding out, whatever title you are keeping for the research disseminating, that should be very clear and informative. For example, nurse practitioners, a pilot study of their impact on medical and surgical rapid response teams in an accurate care setting. So nurse practitioners के लिए this topic will be more comfortable and more fit, means you can say very much accurate. So additional of acute care nurse practitioners to the medical and surgical rapid response team, a pilot study can be done. Now title should be concise. APA, American Psychological Associations, recommend the title should be no more than 12 words and should avoid unnecessary prefaces. Now abstract, what abstract you are writing, that should be just important as a title. Provide summary, describe study purpose, background, methods, research, key findings and conclusions. These all are the points which you have to remember and you have to put. It's again depend on the uh, policy of the publisher, policy of the of your journal which has been published by the particular publisher. So it's depend on that, or institution or organizations. In some journals structures abstracts are required, only they need a structure, abstract. Structures abstracts may include one or more sentence under the following headings. These headings you have to mention while you are publishing your topic as an abstract or articles. So first purpose, clinical importance and the research questions or hypothesis that has to be included. And the purpose, design structures of the study include year and durations, where from which types of research design you have used and which year you have uh, done this study, or from where you where that study has been taken, setting where it has been done in the community area or setting, where then subject selections criteria and number, subject selection criteria, sampling criteria, and sampling techniques, sample size, everything you have to discuss with that. Then intervention, if any kinds of interventions or treatment you have mentioned in that, that has to be given in proper manner, very clearly. You have to define what interventions you have to given. Measures variables. This is measures how many variables you have kept in your study, which variable is dependent variable or independent variable, or how much confound variables are there. That means all variables you have to mention, and which variables are very much effectively, yeah, given effect to your research study. That has to be clearly mentioned in your presentations or in your research findings. Results, man outcourse, confidence intervals. These things you have to result. What result has come, that has to be given in here. This abstract of an original reports are typically between 150 to 300 words. Uh, uh, Research report, that abstract should be uh, up to 300 words. That again, this is what decided by the publisher or their according to the institutional policies. Now IMRAD format reported, that is what introduction, methodology, result, and discussions. This has to be given how to the conventional format of the writing research papers in the IMRAD format. It provides structures for organizing the paper and specify in advance the headings for it. So we'll see that introduction, what will give in the introductions, what was the study done. So you have to mention the need of the study, and what types of study was that. So and why this study is required for the particular setting. So that has to be mentioned in the introduction. Method, what method you have to you have used, and how you have done your research study. Result, what types of researchers or findings has been found out by the researchers. And discussions, what does it mean, whatever findings you have find out or you have got, that what meanings that are giving. So that has to be mentioned. Introductions, you have to explain each and everything which we have discussed before. Literatures too, you have to discuss in that. Then literatures, why we are discussing the literatures? The literatures we are discussing for the to fulfill the gap between the previous and now, the past and present. Then theoretical frameworks, then complexity of the conceptual or theoretical frameworks varies across the research reports. That has to fit. In clinical journals, the discussions of the frameworks may be limited. So I'm going very fast because we don't have much times now, I think so. So now methods, everyone knows the methods, what points has to be included in methods. Procedures of the data collection, analysis of the procedures of analysis, measures and subjects, everything has to be discussed. Research design, what research design has to be selected by the researchers, and sample and statements. Measures, what measures has to be has been taken by the researchers. Instrument, or what instruments or tools has been used by the researchers. Validity and reliability instruments has to be provided or not. So these all things has to be remember. Then data analysis, about the data where analyzed statistical methods or computer program have used, it's dependent. Now, results, what are the findings? That findings, author should present all the findings which has been found by the authors. Now, discussions, implications, strength and weakness can be discussed by the authors. Now, reference to be given according to the policy of their uh, policies of their institution or organization. Now we'll see the various of the research utilizations. There are so many various that can be research related barriers, can be nurses related barriers, can be organizational barriers, or various related to the nursing profession. So nurses research related various sometimes it happens that institutions or organizations not giving that much opportunity to the researchers, so they cannot carry out their research projects, though they are very much interested to do the research, but because of the lack of facilities or lack of time, they cannot be complete their research or they cannot do the research. So that can be various sometimes. Nurses related various nurses, they don't have, they do not find the time to do the research, and they were having lack of interest to do the research, and they may be having the lack of knowledge regarding the research, how to do, what is the methodology, how to analyze these all things, maybe methodology they don't know, so lack, they were having lack of interest to do the researches. So sometimes these can be the barriers for the nurses. Organizational barrier, definitely these means a lot, because if organization is not giving us opportunity, the organization is not giving us time or way we can do the research, so we cannot able to do the research. Sometimes some colleges and some organizations, they must have the policy for doing the researches. Research means each and every must be involved with, or must have to do the research. Some organizations, but some organizations they are not giving preference for the research, so it can be. Then very related to the nursing profession, yeah, nursing professions, no one is going to uplift us, so we have to move, and we have to fight for our professions, and we have to do more and more researches, so we can improve our professions. There are so many barriers in the nursing professions that can be, we are not getting grant for the research, we are having lack of money, economical problem will be there, time is not there, and we don't have some nursing research bodies which uh, give us promotion for the research. So these all are the barriers which we have to remember while you are means because of that we cannot do the research, and we cannot utilize our research for practice work. The main thing is that organizational policies are there which not allowed us to use the utilization, use our findings for to carry out the work in proper manner. Sometime it happens. Now, research related various, you can say the lack of the valid and trustworthy research studies, lack of enough published replications, nurses related lack of formal instructions in the research, lack of skill to judge the merits of a study. Excuse me. Lack of attitudes towards research, resistance to change. So these are the points which have to, which can use as a barrier. Shortage of role methods, lack of perceptions from the nurse that they are independent professional, unable to motivate students by the nurse educators. So, organizational resistance for the change, lack of motivation, insufficient time, resource constraint, lack of a strong leadership in the healthcare organizations. The so these all things we have discussed in the research utilization. I means whatever I was having. Now I'm concluding my topic. What I have discussed with this utilization of research and communications of the research report. So now I'm going to conclude my topic. Is there any queries? Is there any questions? Is there any suggestions? So please, I'm welcoming you all. You can give your proper valuable suggestions to me, as well as we can discuss here if you want. So
Definitely, ma'am. This
I'm going to
session.
conclude my topic.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So the gap that exists between research and practice has been termed research practice gap. Yeah. In this way, presentations of the research findings at local, regional, and national conferences enable quicker disseminations of the study result to nursing profession. Nurses with help of utilization of research findings. We can disseminate our research findings in the conference. We can arrange the seminar, webinars like you have arranged. So in this manner, we can promote our professions also. So that's what we have discussed in the research utilizations, findings of the utilization, and how to publish in the journals, what methods we can use, how to find out the plagiarism. These all things we have discussed in our in this topic. Uh, Now it is open for the
Definitely.
discussion. If anybody.
Yeah,
Yes. Hello. Uh,
generally as well as research finding utilization of the proper utilization of the finding is more important rather than research. We can say it should be useful, it should be easy, and level of understanding according to general population. Or definitely in
yes.
this session we also get the various idea about how to write the report, appropriate report in concise manner. Nowadays this is very challenging matter for the every researchers or beginners, how to write the effective report. Or sometime due to the reason of not proper formatting, some research studies are rejected, like that report are rejected, or publisher is not ready to publish in reputed journal. So this definitely
Yes.
this information is useful for the all participants, and we can say like that. Now you already discussed about the IMRD format. Nowadays in 21st century, this is a very popular format. IMRD: introduction, methodology, result, and discussion. We can say if we want to like that convey or proceed over proper finding, then we need to follow the IMRD format. Definitely almost a journal or publishers follow same kind of like that format, IMRD format. So with these words, I extend my
Yes.
heartfelt thanks to Dr. Malti Lodhi ma'am, who gives a valuable time and knowledge. Definitely, this knowledge is useful for the researcher, not only the PhD nursing researcher,
Thank
but all interdisciplinary sectors. This session is useful for the all persons and PG students after they going through that session, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for giving me an opportunity. Yeah. Anybody is there?
Yeah, ma'am.
So,
Thank you so much for your valuable time again and again.
okay. Thank you. So, can I leave?
Institute of.
Okay. Now,
Okay,
your
thank you.
voice is breaking.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.